Now, the third question I get, and one I'm really excited to talk about, is do they like Christians there? A lot of people have this very bizarre narrative that they don't like Christians over in Israel, and that could not be any further from the truth. First of all, there's such a celebration of Christianity over there. You have millions of Christians who visit Israel every single year for whether it's events or just to see the holy sites or just to go there, just to go there. And there's a reason for that. It's the origin of all of our. Now, why would y'all play that clip right now? Me pulling up on Santa. I have beef with Santa Claus. It's a long story. I don't. Listen, me and Santa Claus, we have beef, but I'm going to keep that between us because we're working it out. We had a nice discussion after I got done beating on that door, chat. But there's thousands of years in history when you go over to Israel. Like, that's truly the motherland. And it's kind of wild because you go there and it's like the Bible just comes to life. Like, I will honestly say, like, my faith was certainly not at its strongest the first time I went there. And I was just, I don't know, I was just going through a lot. I was figuring things out, figuring out how deep my walk with God actually is. And suddenly I go there and it's like, wow, this is real. This isn't like the Bible isn't just like a fairy tale book, which I never thought it was, but a lot of people do. But when you go there, you really start to realize just how deeply rooted Christianity is to literal history. Okay, you walk thousands of years back in history when you go there, especially in places like the city of David. You go to the city of David, you walk through where biblical heroes like King David and Solomon lived. They bring the scriptures to life in such a tangible way because sometimes you might even find an old ancient coin from the times that they were there. You'll find all these cool things and these things that have been so incredibly preserved over there. And, you know, one of my favorite in City of David, if you don't know that story, you know, there's all types of ancient ruins there, like Pilgrimage Road, which I'll get into, Hezekiah's Tunnel. I'll go through more of these in just a second. But when you talk about the Old Testament, the OG Jerusalem, because there's the modern city, there's the old city behind the Western Wall and everything, and then there's the OG city of David. And the city of David was conquered and buried upon over and over and over. So there's so many layers of centuries of empires of all this different stuff that's buried on top, and they're slowly starting to be able to dig underneath. But you know, there's a certain group of people that don't like you to dig over in the city of David because every time they dig and the more they dig, the more they find things that are Jewish and Christian. But no shade, all tea though, all tea. But when you explore these sites, it really deepens your spiritual journey because it shows you just how deep the roots are. Now, Pilgrimage Road was one of my favorite places. So can we pull up that photo of me on the steps? So a cool story about this place is it's actually not fully open to the public, but you know, I got some connections out there, Chad. The Pilgrimage Road, also known as the Step Street, is a 2,000-year-old limestone pathway in Jerusalem, particularly in City of David, that was used by Jewish pilgrims to ascend from the Pool of Siloam to the Temple Mount during festivals like Passover. Now, as you would guess, Jesus even himself has walked on these steps and walked on these steps many, many, many times. And archaeologists are excavating it horizontally through this subterranean tunnel beneath the Silwan neighborhood using fiber optic cameras and steel supports to preserve the modern area above, because above all these tunnels, it's a whole neighborhood. And they didn't want to have to displace these people. So they are digging underneath in such a cool, intricate way. And it's about 300 feet. There's about 300 feet left to uncover. And every time I go back, I make sure I go because it's so incredible. And how it was actually discovered was back in 2004, a sewage pipe burst. And anytime you have to dig in Israel, you have to have archaeologists there. And as they were digging to find this pipe, they hit these stone stairs, and it prompted a bigger excavation, which then ended up helping them realize, oh wow, like these are the steps. These are the stepped street, or yeah, these belong to the Step Street. This is the Pilgrimage Road, which is, again, so incredible. It's going to be fully open to the public pretty soon. Then you have places like, and I'm going to say a lot of these wrong, don't come for me. Y'all know I try my best. You have the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. How do you say this word?
Sepulchre.
Sepulchre. Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus' tomb is. You can go inside of there and you can literally see where Jesus' tomb is preserved. You can also see where Jesus' crucifixion happened and at the resurrection site. Like, that is as holy as it gets in my book. Like, you don't get any closer to the Word of God than that. Then you have the Church of Nativity. That's a Bethlehem marking. Bethlehem Basilica mark. I'm saying all these incorrectly. Don't come for me. Y'all know the vibes. A Bethlehem Basilica marking the church. Miss Rodriguez, how you met their kid? Bethlehem Basilica, marking the traditional birthplace of Jesus. I should put phonetic notes on my little outline here just to help me through. But this is where Jesus was literally born. So put some respect on its name. Maybe I need to. I need to put some respect on its name. But you know what? This isn't even the language it was all in back in the day. So don't try it. Don't try coming for me in the comments, y'all. But then you have the Sea of Galilee, which I have been to, I think twice, maybe at least once, maybe twice. Love the Sea of Galilee. It's a freshwater lake where Jesus performed miracles like walking on water and where he called so many of his disciples. And let me tell you, it is so gorgeous. Like, to say it's beautiful is such an understatement. Like, it's such a pulchritudinous area that you have to go see. There's just such a sense of peace when you get there that will bring you to tears as someone who loves the Word of God. You also have Capernaum, probably saying that incorrectly too, but it's this Galilee fishing village known as Jesus's ministry base with the synagogue and Peter's house ruins. Then you have Dominus Flevit Church. I have an image of me inside of there because I went there for the first time when I was there just a few weeks ago. This is a Jerusalem church on the Mount of Olives commemorating Jesus weeping over the city's future. And again, like, you hear these stories when you're there and you get yourself a skilled tour guide that knows the story like the back of his hand, and they really just bring it all to life for you. And I get emotional when I look at some of these pictures because I just think of the depth of the peace that I felt when I was there. You also have Via Dolorosa. This was a path in Jerusalem that traced Jesus's journey to the cross, and it's marked by stations where you see where Jesus fell to his knees. You see where his face was wiped. You literally can walk down the exact same path that he took his journey to be crucified. You have Mount Zion. That's a Jerusalem hill housing significant Christian sites like the Upper Room of the Last Supper. 10 out of 10 recommend going there. And you also have I'm really going to say this one incorrectly, the Garden of Gethsemane.
You're all good.
I'm trying. Trust me, I loved it there. I took great pictures while I was there, but I don't know how to say any of these.
I'm pretty sure we both say things wrong sometimes with this. It's like we're doing our best.
I'm doing the best. At least I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Okay. This is an olive grove at the Mountain of Olives where Jesus prayed before his crucifixion. So 10 out of 10 recommend going there. And the Bible calls for us to support Israel. You have Genesis 12:3 where it says, I will bless those who bless you when referring to Israel. You also have Psalms 122:6, which urges praying for Jerusalem's peace. So as a Christian, we are called to protect that land and to know that Israel is the Holy Land tied to Jesus's life and prophecy, and supporting Israel aligns with the faith in God's covenant.